Hello, guys, and welcome back to the NW Sportscast. Levi, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Mid Sox. They are
Our
not a top 10 team. I'm telling you guys. The Seattle Seahawks cannot get it done in the red zone. Geno Smith might he might be a board. I don't think he's a top half quarterback. I think he is 17 through 32. The defense is solid, but the Bengals have struggled against everybody. And Pete Carroll's old and washed. Levi, what's your take?
okay. Well, I'll break it down to you by position. Quarterback, I admit it's not pretty. It's 6 out of 10 at best.
Awful.
It's
4
4
out of
out of
10.
10 at worst. Maybe even 3 out of 10 at worst. Geno's not a Super Bowl quarterback. After that, though, run game. I think we
Yeah,
are.
only after the most important position in the NFL. Let's move
Okay,
on to
yeah,
the next one.
but but after that, we're not a team. We are not a quarterback reliant team. How about how about our offensive line? By the
Oh,
way,
yeah,
our
not a quarterback reliant team. Yeah.
our offensive line
How did we lose that game then, eh?
with with multiple injuries, our offensive line is actually playing above average. Geno Smith in the league this year. This is another reason why I'm not very high on Geno. He has actually had the 7th most time to throw out of any quarterback, and yet
He
it
put up
always
13 points.
and yet we're always like, whoa, where's the blockers? Oh, the O line needs to do better. No, the O line is actually doing really well, and we're gonna get Abe Lucas back, so the O line is great. Run game great. Kenneth Walker's a top 10 running back in the NFL. Wide receivers are good. We have DK, Tyler Lockett, finally getting JXN involved as well. Tight ends, not amazing, but not terrible. I think our coaching staff, I disagree with you. I do not think Pete Carroll is anything close to washed. And I think for the most part, our coordinators are good, except for sometimes they struggle with second half adjustments. They have proven,
Oh
especially
yeah.
offensively,
So-
especially offensively.
Sometimes,
Well,
choose your words carefully there.
well, they adjusted to the Lions. Okay, they adjusted to the Giants. So let's be honest, they moved the ball really, really well against the Bengals the entire game. Geno
Yeah,
threw 2 picks,
true.
and we went 4 and out twice.
True.
The chances that you would go into the opposing territory 4 times in the second half and come away with 0 points on those 4 possessions, those chances are pretty much 0%, and yet they
Yeah.
happened. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then on defense, don't even get me started about the defense. Our defense is top 10 in the league. Let's be honest. I mean, we played one bad game on defense. We played one bad half on defense against the Rams. We played a bad quarter against the Bengals in the first quarter. Other than that, like, this is a special. And the
The
Lions.
Lions.
The
Yeah.
Lions got us too. The Lions have a great offense, so I'm not that mad. The one thing is, like, okay, the week 1 we should have been better against the Rams. I think that was our worst half. That was the one half that you can look at and really say the Seahawks were bad. But other than the second half against the Rams, we haven't really had a bad half other than that, because like we outplayed the Bengals 95% of that game. I can't say, oh, well, you outplayed a team that was the AFC Championship game last year and yet you lost by 4 because of one key critical interception that Geno usually doesn't make. He usually doesn't throw critical picks. He did against the Bengals. That, like, some games it's going to happen. That's my take. Rebut me. Tell me why we're not top 10.
You off your soapbox, Levi?
I'm off my soapbox. Take it a
Yeah.
step back.
Is it my turn now?
As I
Is it
wear
my
my
turn?
Mariner shirt. Yes,
Is
it's
it my
your turn. Your turn.
All right. All right. This is why I don't think we're top 10. We're not top 10. Because I have a couple reasons. One is Geno Smith. Straight up, he is not a good quarterback. He will get the job done in an offense which has a lot of weapons. You do have K9. I agree with that. I think we have 4 really solid receivers. I really like Bobo as well, especially in the red zone. I think we should utilize him a lot more, especially after what we saw on Sunday.
Totally agree.
But Geno Smith is going to hold you back. He proved it against the Bengals there. He proved it against the Rams earlier in the season. Those are 2 losses that could be wins if we had Russell Wilson at his prime. If we gave this team to Russell Wilson 5 years ago, I think we could definitely be 6-0. Would you agree with me there?
No, Russell Wilson would not have beat the Rams.
5 years ago with this team, this
You think
offensive. Do you
you
remember the
think
offensive? Do you
you
remember the
think
offensive line?
you think you think that you think that Russ would have turned a 20-point loss into a win?
Do you remember the offensive line?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Russell Wilson would be 4-1. If Russell Wilson was on this team, we would be a top 5 team ranked. We'd be considered Super Bowl contenders. We would be considered. I mean, even if Russell Wilson today was on this team, playing the way with the stats he has with Denver, we'd be considered a Super Bowl contender. But with Geno and people just don't even watch the Seahawks. I swear, I don't think people watch the games. I think they say, "Oh, well, they lost to a 3-3 Bengals team." Oh, I don't know about that. The Bengals are gonna win 11 games this year. They're gonna win their division, and people are gonna look back and say, "Okay, yeah, that's a fair loss." Like, oh, you lost to the team that won the AFC North 4 years in a row. Okay, you lost to the team that's in your division that also made the playoffs. Okay, like that's fair. That makes sense. Oh, you beat the Lions, who are going to be a top 3, top 4 seed. Great win. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, okay. So my second thing is I don't think the defense is as elite as you're saying they are. That's
okay, why not? Give me the numbers to back up your claims.
I don't think the pass rush is all there. We're 18th in the NFL in points per game allowed.
That's
That's not
because of that's because weeks 1 and 2, but after look at since week 2.
since week 2. Okay, their last 3 games, I'll give you that. They are allowing 15 and a half points per game, which would be borderline top 10. But you can't cherry pick last 3 games in my opinion. If you're gonna
Okay, sure.
if you're gonna take stats from the first few games, I think we have to take the negative stats as well. Look at the pass rush. I know we sacked Daniel Jones 11 times or whatever it was. Outside of that, how often have we gone to the quarterback, Levi?
Um, well, that's a fair point.
And the Giants offensive line
Okay, but Drew, we
is
are we are top 12
terrible,
in we're top 12 in the
terrible,
league in sacks. So
terrible.
so so pull
Top
up
12 with 11 sacks versus the Giants.
so I'm gonna pull up the schedule. I'm gonna ask you game by game, and I
All
want to
right.
see how different we view these
I
teams.
think we finished third in the NFC West. I'm gonna put it right at that.
Okay, I could see that happening, but I think even third in the NFC West, I think makes you the playoffs.
I
So
agree. I
this
think
is
we'll
the
make the
schedule.
playoffs.
Cardinals next week at home. Do we win?
Yeah.
Okay, 4-2. Browns at home.
No.
Okay, so that you have that as a loss. I have that as a win. So I'd put them at 5-2. You'd have them
Dude, the
at four and
Browns are
three.
going to literally eat Geno Smith. Like they are going to
Well, the
destroy
Browns
him.
did the Browns and their amazing defense actually lost 27-3 to the Ravens. So they are beatable. Then you've got Ravens on the road.
That's a close game. I will say uh, I'll say loss. I think the Ravens beat us. I'm not even just saying that
Yeah, I'm saying loss here too. So I have them at 5-3. You have 4-4. Then home for the Commanders.
to win.
Okay, so now at 5-4 for you, 6-3 for me. At Los Angeles and Rams off the bye. I have this actually as a loss, getting swept by the Rams. I think
Yeah, I'll have this as a win.
so now we have them both at 6-4. Then the game of the season, the game that
Cowboys. Right?
really no, though actually the Cowboys is the game of the season. The game before the game of the season, Thanksgiving night at home, 49ers. I have this as a win.
We're losing by 30 on national television.
No,
I'm
we're
gonna
winning
be
that game.
I'm gonna be eating my turkey in the great homeland of Washington State for the first time in 4 months, and I'm going to witness Geno Smith and the Seahawks get absolutely pummeled by the 49ers. They are going to show us who is the real champion in the NFC West. And newsflash, it is not the Seattle Seahawks, not this year.
Well, okay, so that's the difference. So now I have them at 7-4. You'd have 6-5. Then we go to Dallas. I have that as a win as well.
The loss.
So now it's 8-4 for me, 6-6 for you. But wait, I can be fair. Then we play the 49ers again. I would have the 49ers getting revenge. And I think this is the game potentially that could be a blowout for the 49ers. I think we win close on Thanksgiving and then get blown out in San Fran. I
It's a
think that's
loss.
fair.
It's a
So now
loss.
you have us at 6-7. Yikes. Then we go to
I
Philadelphia.
don't think I'm being unrealistic here. I
Then
really don't.
Philadelphia comes to Seattle. I have that as a loss as well.
Yeah, that's a loss.
So now I have 8-6. You have 6-8. Then we go to Tennessee. I have that as a win.
The win.
9-6, 7-8. Hosting the Steelers. I have that as a win.
It's a close game. It really is. The Steelers really good defense. I think Geno Smith probably will outplay Pickett there. We'll probably get a close win.
So then you have us at 8-8, facing a must-win game in Arizona, Week 18. I have us at 10-6, comfortably already punched our ticket. I think we both have us winning against the Cardinals Week 18.
Man, would it not be just? I mean, would I could see a loss there. I really could. I'm
Oh
not
my.
gonna predict a loss. I'll predict a win, but don't tell me that's gonna be a walk in the park.
So the difference
That
between
won't not be a walk in the park game.
No, it won't. I agree, but I think we win. So the difference between me and you have them at 9 wins, I have them at 11. The difference is you don't think we're capable of beating any of the good teams. I think
He was swept by the Rams. I have a win
I
against.
know, but you have us losing twice to the 49ers and losing to the Cowboys. I think we beat the Cowboys, beat the Niners once. And I also think we beat I think we will beat either the Browns or Ravens. So that's where the 3 extra wins for me come into play there. And I think the reason why I think we're capable of beating other good teams is because we already have when we beat the Lions. The best team that we have played this season was the Lions, and we beat them. So you can't really argue with that, in my opinion. We've played two teams that I consider good, and we're 1-1 in those 2 games.
The 49ers are not on the same tier as the Lions.
Well, I'm 1-3. It's pretty close. Stephen A. Smith actually has the Lions ahead
I saw
of
that.
the 49ers.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
So if you ask him, we beat the best team in the NFL.
We better hope Abe Lucas comes back soon before the Browns game. Abe Lucas needs to come back.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's supposed to.
Hopefully. I can't see any more of this freaking who are we even playing? Like Jake Curran or whatever.
Yeah, it's getting rough. I'll
Rough.
but again, 7th most. Like I watched Geno,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he is holding on to the football for way too long, and he's not finding like DK Metcalf wide open downfield,
Yeah,
and
DK
Geno
Metcalf
just
is a little.
doesn't. Why is Geno not throwing him the football? Like,
I saw that down the left sideline. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Why that was a touchdown. I mean, Geno
no,
gave
I
that's
agree.
7 points.
You see freaking DK Metcalf like pushing that guy and getting a flag.
Oh yeah, I mean DK Metcalf is one of the most frustrating players
He's done
I've
that
ever
all.
had to watch.
Yeah.
Remember against the Rams when he shoved over their defensive back and got called for like a 15-yard. I mean, this is like the 3rd time that this has happened this season where DK gets called for literally shoving a player to the ground. He thinks he's on WWE.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't think it's really that hard to explain. We're 18th in the league in points per game, which is the most important defensive stat. And we have a bottom half of the league quarterback, which is the most important offensive position. That's why I think we're outside the top 10. I think 9 wins is very I don't think I'm underselling the Seahawks. I really don't. I could see 8. Very easily, I could see 8. I could see us getting swept by the Rams, or I could see us getting
it. I could see 8, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
You don't think we could potentially lose against like the Steelers, Titans, or Cardinals those last 3 weeks?
Of course we could. I mean, but we
No,
could
like, I don't
also
even think could. Like,
but
I think
we also potentially could beat the Browns, Ravens, Rams. We could potentially win 7 games in a row, and then we could potentially lose to the Steelers and have the same record. You know what I mean? Like,
I think if you do a 3-game parlay of the Seahawks beating winning the last 3 games of the season, I think Vegas would give you plus odds on that.
Oh, I think they. Oh, obviously they would give you plus odds on almost any team on a three
So,
game
so the
parlay.
odds are better. The odds are
But
better
Drew,
that we.
no matter what the team, unless it's the Niners, the Chiefs, or maybe the Eagles and Dolphins, you do a three game parlay for
Yeah.
any team
Okay.
in
That's what
any
I'm
three
saying.
weeks. So what?
So
Oh, so we're just as good as any
no,
other team, basically.
no. I'm saying going into the end of the season, I have us at what 6 wins. Going into
Yes.
the last 6-8. So that puts us at 3 must-win games.
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
have the
last
Seahawks
week
winning
we
all.
did that.
And I have the Seahawks.
Last year we were 7-8. We won the last two and got in.
I have the Seahawks winning all 3 of those games. But I'm saying that's not like the likely scenario. And I still have the Seahawks doing that.
I
Like,
don't I
I'm
think
not underselling the Seahawks here.
I think you are. I think you are. I think that you have this weird belief that it's impossible for us to beat a team that is slightly better than us. I don't think that's
How
impossible.
close were we to losing to the Lions? So close. So
Yeah.
close.
Now, how no, well, we were up by 11. How close were
We were,
we to putting the game away? At
I mean,
one point, we
we
were
were a
up by
Drew Lock.
11.
We were a Drew Lock not calling the coin right away from losing.
Well, the defense could have caught the stop. We don't know that.
No. Did you watch the last quarter of that game?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
I just think
the point is that
without that one win against the Lions, we've beaten no one.
well, that's why that win against the Lions is there. And when we beat the Ravens or the Browns, then that adds to the resume. And
When
then
we, I like,
and then
I
all of a
like your
sudden
thinking.
you're going into the 49ers on Thanksgiving. If we're 7-3 and they're 8-2 on Thanksgiving night at home, why shouldn't we win that game? We had them beat in the first half last season in the playoffs, and then Gino turned into a pumpkin in the second half, and Brock Purdy turned into Tom freaking Brady.
That's gonna happen again. Like
No.
me and you both know that that's happening.
I think the gap between Gino and Brock is not very big. This season, the stats say that it is, but watching the product on the field, the gap between Gino and Brock is not very big. And now CMC and Debo are both getting banged up.
I think the gap.
We can beat the 49ers.
I'll actually agree with you on that point. I think Gino and Brock are not that huge of a gap, but I think the offenses still are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But look, the 49ers with a banged up CMC and a banged up Debo Samuel have a very similar offense to the Seahawks. And their defense has gotten worse than last year, and ours has gotten better. And
I mean,
and we are a second half
league.
team.
They played the best defense in the league.
Yeah, they did, and in the rain too. I mean, they had all the odds stacked against them. But I'm saying that
away,
but
in the rain.
But I'm telling you that if their guys go down with injuries, and
lost
our
to the
guys don't,
Bengals,
a great team. The
Bengals. This year, the Bengals are not a great team.
Actually, according to my power rankings, they're better than the Browns. So,
which you should watch if you have not already. Levi, got anything else for this video?
All I have to say is go Hawks. Prove the haters, prove the doubters.
Prove the haters wrong. I agree.
Drew wrong.
I am not a hater.
You're not a hater. You are a doubter.
I have them making the playoffs 9 wins. That's not hate.
But you doubt our ability to actually win meaningful games. So that's the difference.
Okay. I have us beating the Rams.
Yeah, and that is a must-win game. So there you go. You have us winning one must-win game.
And we could beat the Cowboys. Possibly.
Yeah, I think we will. The Cowboys look so vulnerable, man. The Cowboys, I could rant for a long time about how bad the Cowboys actually are, but
I bet you could about the Ravens too, and I have them losing against the Ravens. So,
well, we're not. I have us losing to the Ravens too, actually, because I think that's I don't know. Baltimore's a tough play. We've lost to the Ravens, I think 3 in a row. John Harbaugh.
You just jump shifts on the Ravens, don't you?
Well, no, but so the Ravens.
I watched your video. You were ranting about how bad the Ravens were.
And I still think the Ravens are bad, but John Harbaugh I think John Harbaugh might have Pete Carroll's number a little bit because they beat us the past like 3 or 4 times we've played. So, sometimes that mattered. The Browns too. That was one of my big reasons on the Browns. Their defensive coordinator 8-1 against Kyle Shanahan. So sometimes coaching, that definitely comes into play with coaches who know each other. I think Pete outcoaches Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, and then I think Harbaugh outcoaches Pete. And that's just how it's gonna go, in my opinion. We'll see though. I am not perfect. I'm only 4-1 in my Seahawks predictions. I did say we would beat the Rams, so that was my one mistake of the season. And so yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty close.
Wow, you had them beating the Panthers. Great job, Levi.
I called the loss of the Bengals. So what do you want? What do you want me to say?
Yeah, I guess. Hey, good for you. You know, Levi. You know what you should do? You should change the NW Sportscast to the San Francisco Sportscast because Levi Coover is undefeated this year with Niners predictions, folks.
Yup,
Undefeated.
six
He
and
called
zero.
it.
Keep it
Called it.
coming.
Yeah.
And you
What
know
do you
what?
got next week? If you don't get to put out a video, what do you got?
They play the Vikings on Monday night. Kirk
Put it on.
Cousins
Put it on
Kirk
record.
Cousins never wins on prime time. He will not. 49ers are going to be
All
six
right.
and one
All
after they
right.
beat the
All right.
Minnesota Vikings.
All right. I'm putting $10 on the Niners every time until Levi gets it wrong.
All right.
All
With
right.
that, let's wrap this thing up. Drew, take us away.
All right. Guys, we're 20 minutes in and you're still here. What are you doing? Leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, check out our power ranking video, check out Levi's post game to the Seahawks. I also have a Huskies reaction if you want to watch that. That was a huge game. And that's about all for you. Thanks for watching. Go Seahawks and peace out. Levi will click the